So, as tech reviewer, I know that I'm supposed to dislike this certain brand. I'm supposed to dislike this phone, because that seems to be the normal these days. But what if I told you I didn't? Apart from some obvious things that are amiss, like the headphone jack and micro SD that are important for me, I actually think that the OnePlus 10T is quite a good device. Now, I don't agree with all their choices for the OnePlus 10T, but honestly, I really don't have much problems when it comes to a phone like this and the purpose of it. So, let's discuss the OnePlus 10T in this full review and why I simply disagree with disliking OnePlus, especially with a device like this and a OnePlus 10 Pro. To begin with, the OnePlus 10T. It comes with the latest Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, which still sounds like a math equation, but it comes with that new CPU. And there are improvements. Yes, I heard with other devices there's still some heating problems, but from my own experience, using devices with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, I definitely noticed that the OnePlus 10T doesn't create anywhere near the heat that some other devices that I've tested had, with of course the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1. Now this could be down to it being differently processed, not by Samsung anymore, but it could also be down to the cooling that is inside the OnePlus 10T. I cannot really reference it with other devices that use the same Snapdragon inside of course, but apart from that I can definitely tell that in terms of performance it's been an improvement. For instance, I've been trying to do some tests of course when it comes to trying to heat up the device, and it doesn't get anywhere near the heat that some other devices with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 had. So in terms of that, there's a definite improvement, and you have to recognize that. Then a lot of people want to dislike the software. Well, you can, but I disagree. In terms of software, it is a smooth experience. It comes with that 120Hz AMOLED display, and the software experience is smooth. I really don't have any issues here with OnePlus. They have their separate gallery app, which is important for me because I don't like the Google Photos. The camera app itself works well, no problems at all here as well. In terms of overall performance, again, no hiccups, no lags, no performance issues at all. Then we come to the 360 antenna array. Again, really good. In terms of download performance, TKB actually managed to get twice the performance out of it, meaning twice the download performance, compared to some other devices he have tested. Of course, if you don't know him, check him in the link of the description. But in terms of performance, it definitely has been a huge improvement, and I think OnePlus has done an excellent job with the OnePlus 10T. And again, I don't get why people dislike it. For 650 euros, you get a phone that performs really well and has no issues at all in terms of that. Now again, there are some issues that I find weird with the OnePlus 10T. For instance, not having the alert slider makes no sense. I feel like you are separating yourself with that alert slider. You are branding yourself as OnePlus, having that alert slider. Removing that, I don't get that. I know they said we don't have the space for it, especially when we want to make it thinner. But again, then make it a little bit thicker and give that alert slider. I feel like that's an important part to separate yourself when it comes to a phone like this. OnePlus is known for that alert slider, so keep it on the device. I think with the Nord series it's a little bit different, but the flagships always had that alert slider. Keep it, no matter what, including the OnePlus 10T. Now, of course, the OnePlus 10T has some other choices that I find weird as well. The main thing is the 2 megapixel sensor on, of course, the camera setup. Why? Why OnePlus? Why would you want to add a 2 megapixel sensor? It's a useless sensor, and while I somewhat get it as marketing side for phones that are cheaper, like Pocos or Xiaomi's that are like 200 euros, for a phone like this, it shouldn't be on there. I disagree with that full-heartedly. It shouldn't be on a OnePlus 10T. So next time, if you have a device like this, not only remove that 2 megapixel, but also add the alert slider. and for me also at the 3.5mm headphone jack and a micro SD, which I know I'm not alone with when it comes to having that feature. Hi David, hi Michael. For both of them, they want that feature. They want that to be a part of their phone. And again, I'm not alone in this, and they are not either. But basically, for this, when it comes to comparing it to other OnePlus devices, yeah, just don't have the 2 megapixel sensor and add the alert slider. But they said that this is the only device that will have it, which is good, but that also means that they know that they shouldn't have removed it. Either way, the OnePlus 10T comes with, of course, 2 other cameras. It comes with an ultra wide and, of course, the main sensor itself. How is the camera performance? It depends. I think overall the ultra wide is a little bit lower in quality, and I would like to see a little bit of an improvement there. But again, this phone I don't think is marketed the same way. I mean, that's why they've removed the Hasselblad branding as well. This is not aimed for photography, but with that being said, I still think it actually performs quite well. The main sensor, for instance, takes good daytime pictures. I really have no issues, and low light, it still performs pretty well as well. Nothing amazing, but you know, overall performance is solid. When it comes to the ultra wide, I do think there it's a little bit less, but again, it's not their aim, and it's 650 euros with that new Snapdragon inside that is already costly to have inside the phone, of course. I think overall, in terms of that, it makes sense that there is some compromise with the camera itself. I just would have liked to see a little bit of a better ultra wide, and that's the main thing that I would say about the camera performance itself. Overall though, in terms of it, I think the camera performs quite well. Let me just show you some images and of course video as well. Alright, 4K recording. Let's see how it performs, how the audio is. In general, looks good. Again, viewing angles on this phone is excellent. Really no issue at all here. Let's see the resolution. Seems that the colors are more vivid, which I do not prefer. Now AI only does that in 1080p, so here a regular recording, 1080p, AI off. If I move, there's a slight delay, I will have to say. I can see it decently clear. It's like a fraction of a second, but it's there. So the front-facing camera, let's also see how that one performs. Actually looks quite good. Good solid dynamic range as well. It doesn't really have any issues with the sun. Granted, it isn't very strong, but when it came out at the back, it did pretty well. But there are some overblow skies right there, and it was on my freaking screen. Then of course, let's talk about charging and battery life. Now let's start with the battery life aspect of the OnePlus 10T. I don't think OnePlus has ever been really good with battery life, at least the experience that I had with devices from OnePlus so far. And this is still the case for the OnePlus 10T. Battery life is just meh. It's not bad, but it's not great either. I can make it maybe till the end of the day if I stretch it, but if I am a heavy user, I can definitely tell that I probably won't make it till the end of the day. And being that I've done some tests with it, you know, some benchmarks and so on, I definitely noticed that the battery was draining quite a lot faster than I would like it to see. With that being said, if you want to charge it up, you get a 160 watt charging brick with the phone itself. Now, it doesn't charge at 160 watt. Nah, that would be crazy. It still charges at 150 watt. 150 watt charging. Let that sink in, because that's amazing. When you need to top it off, it just takes minutes for it to be actually good use for the rest of your day. Of course, if you charge it up at the middle of the day and just say, put it in 5 minutes or so, you can easily make it till the end of the day. With that being said though, damn, that 150 watt charging is just mental. Apart from if you are from the US, I think there it charges at 125 watt or 120 watt, because they have different outlet power outlets and so on, but either way 150 watts for everywhere else. So that's quite mental when you think about it, and I feel like they've done an excellent job. And it's basically done by splitting, of course, the battery in two sides. This allows one side to charge at 75 watts and other side to charge at 75 watts, allowing them 150 watts combined. But yeah, basically 150 watt charging is mental and definitely a good feature for a phone like this. But for who is this phone marketed? Well, actually, I think it's for gamers and those people who just want the best performance in the phone for a good price. And the OnePlus 10T definitely does deliver with that. Gaming performance is excellent with the OnePlus 10T. It doesn't heat up anywhere near the level of the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, and in terms of just the performance of the phone itself while gaming and so on, it's far more stable than the previous generation of course, the Snapdragon. But without a doubt, I feel like that is the proper market for a phone like this. It's performance. It's having a phone that is blazingly fast for a price that is far lower than some flagships out there. And I don't think you should compare it with a flagship. A flagship costs like 400, 500, sometimes 600 more than a phone like this. It's not a fair comparison at all. And realistically, I know a lot of people say OnePlus isn't the OnePlus that they used to be. But if you look at it from the perspective that OnePlus started with, this is more of a OnePlus than a device like the OnePlus 10 Pro. This is a device that gives you the latest CPU, but with a compromise when it comes to the camera. This is something that OnePlus is known for and have done with their older devices. The first OnePlus had the latest CPU, but it had a compromise in camera. And all the other devices that followed, mostly all of the other devices that followed, had that same kind of approach. Latest CPU, but in terms of camera, it had a compromise. The OnePlus 10T is that. Apart from missing the large slider, the 3.5mm headphone jack and a micro SD, and asking you somewhat to settle. Either way, the OnePlus 10T is an excellent device for the price, depending on who it is for, depending who you are. If you want the best camera performance, then no, the OnePlus 10T isn't it. It isn't the best performance in terms of camera. Heck, it has that 2 megapixel sensor. But if you want a device with a great display, 120Hz, the latest CPU that is really fast, a phone that doesn't heat up as much, good quality speakers as well, and overall just a phone that works fast, yeah, then the OnePlus 10T is just an excellent device for you. So, as stated at the beginning, I know as a tech reviewer that I'm supposed to dislike the OnePlus 10T because, for whatever reason, probably because it doesn't get any views. That's probably why. But when it comes to the OnePlus 10T, I simply don't dislike it. It just depends on who you are and what kind of market you're striving for with something like this. Again, if you want performance, the OnePlus 10T with the software that is on there, it's an excellent device. Either way, I hope you enjoyed the OnePlus 10T review. And yeah, I had to shoot this twice because previously the camera didn't focus properly on me. Hopefully, don't find out that it didn't do it now as well. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and of course, if you did, don't forget to subscribe, hit like and the bell icon and all that stuff. And of course, talk to you guys in the next